want to start out by commending Coach Lynn and his group. Again, had a ton of respect for these guys and what they've done in a short time at Mount St. Mary's. Last year was their first year. Talked about it yesterday. Go to the NCAA tournament, win a game, lost to Duke, lost some key pieces. And one of the things I respect about those guys the most, and watched a lot of their games from last year and their scrimmages even this year and even tonight, whether they were up 20 in games or down 20 in games, their bench was always really engaged, a very connected team, and I would anticipate them being right in the thick of things in their conference again for an NCAA tournament berth. Thought our probably the difference in the game was our defensive activity with our hands and getting deflections. Turned them over 20 times. We only turned it over 9. That made up for some poor free throw shooting and didn't shoot the ball well from 3. But thought our overall activity defensively was probably the difference in the game. Challenged our guys. Had not came out of the exhibition game and the closed-door scrimmage, hadn't came out of halftime very well, and I thought we came out with a good little push, got a little separation, and did just enough to hang on.
So, Coach, early games, offense always a little bit of work in progress at this point in time. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think everything's going to be a little bit of a work in progress. For a while, like all aspects. If you look at it, like not only offensively, we had a couple defensive breakdowns where we, gave up a layup just because we lost a guy. There were some scouting report mistakes that we made, where we were supposed to do this, we didn't do that, they made you pay, and then just getting comfortable. And it's probably not a super surprise, but the two guys that probably looked the most comfortable on the floor were the two guys that played for me and have been through 40 of these, with me prior, So you're always going to be settling in, and typically your defense is a little bit ahead of your offense. And I thought that was ultimately, like, for us, our defense was good enough to carry us on a night when we didn't, make a lot of free throws and had opportunities to kind of separate.
Have you seen nights like this out of Jasper before?
Yeah. Brian told me this matches his career high. I wasn't 100% sure, but I think maybe his career high at North Texas was on our opener last year against Evansville. I could be wrong, but, Jasper has a unique ability to understand what his team needs in each moment. And, again, his calming presence, especially early in the game when we were kind of having a hard time finding baskets, he sensed that. And he can do that, or he can kind of go into facilitate mode, and so just his even keel nature allows him to come up big in big moments.
Coach, his career highs in opening games of the season, so you're saying it's all downhill from here?
I don't know. Maybe just everybody else will play better.
Brennan and Jasper were with you for a year at North Texas. Yeah. In that time, they had time to learn, your values, your philosophies. And so now transferring here, how have those lessons not only impacted the culture here with the new guys, but also the progression of the team as a whole?
Yeah, I think they really kind of they kind of bookend you. Obviously, Jasper in your back court, and then Brennan in the front court. And so even when you're doing your position groups or skill worker breakdown, usually one's down here. And I think the biggest thing is to help be a buffer from the message, and particularly maybe when the message isn't coming out in a manner that people would like to hear the message, and more like, hey, don't listen to what he's saying. This don't listen to how he's saying. This is what he's saying. And I'll do a better job too of trying to put those guys at ease a little bit and settle in. And I think the more you play together, the more you, again, these are a series of firsts, exhibition, and then it's your first pregame shoot around today, your first pregame meal, your first pregame locker room speech. Like, all these are first for a lot of those guys. Those guys have heard 50 of them, and they kind of know. Again, they know what to, like, really, listen to and process, and then they can also know, okay, he's probably just venting. I hear it. Now I'm not listening to that anymore, and they know what I'm saying.
Coach, there were a couple of, with Jasper and Brennan, there was a couple of inbounds plays they were able to hook up on, a couple of law plays coming out of timeouts. Is that just that natural connection they have from playing with each other?
Yeah, it's something that something that we like to run with those guys, and felt like the timing of it was good to do it, and they've executed that a lot. And some of it is, again, you get back into like Trey or Honor's gravity, and so they're moving at the same time, and everybody's and then you just open up those little pockets, and Belo's such a good athlete that if he gets behind the defense, you literally can just throw it to the rim.
On a night where rebounding was a struggle, his 13, does that make it stand out more?
Yeah, I thought he did a tremendous job, especially late in the second half. He just kind of started imposing his will on it. I will say the raw numbers of the rebounding is a little distorted because we turned them over so much. And so you don't have a chance to rebound the ball when you're turning them over. And then also when you're shooting free throws at not a super high rate, not always, but they're in pretty good position to get a defensive rebound. Would I like to get us on the offensive glass a little bit more? Yes. But again, Harlan got a little bit of foul trouble. D-Way's in a little bit in foul trouble. And, you get to, it's funny, you finally get to that like 8-minute mark of games, and it's almost like fatigue doesn't matter anymore. But in the first half, you look out there and you can see like, man, we're gassed, and then you get to like the desperation mode where you're just competing, and you've got on the other side of kind of get your second wind, I guess is what they call it.
Ross, the guys just had a lot of praise for Morris. What are the little things he does so well?
Yeah, he's so tough. He's tough. He's a really good defensive player. He's smart. And then even because we mentioned in plus minus doesn't always tell the story all the time, but in tonight I felt like, especially in the second half, I thought he and Amir gave us some really good minutes in that stretch when we were able to get a little distance in it. And, for him to be plus 19, had the second or third best plus minus on the team, went and got a big offensive rebound that we ended up scoring on, and just does a lot of little things.
What have you made of Eagle Staff's efforts so far? I mean, maybe not the best scoring performances out of him from the exhibition and now, but what do you see?
Yeah, he's defending. He's trying hard. This isn't like my first time with like coaching really good shooters, that maybe it will take a little while to really get their legs under them because of the effort that we're asking them to exert on the defensive end of the floor. And you're asking him to play harder than he's ever had to play on that end of the floor. And he understands that, and he's bought into it. And like all good offensive players, the game will open up for him, and he'll settle in and he'll find a rhythm for sure. And I got to do a better job of like trying to help him find a rhythm as well.
So I asked the guys this question. Did you get a chance to soak in Country Roads? Jasper said as soon as you got the job here, he started singing the song and learning the words.
Yeah, so there's a lot of little funny stories about that. But, I think, Jasper and his fiance, her name's Angela. Ange, we call her. They have a little Levi. And so, yeah, it wasn't all the way done. It wasn't publicly done, but I think everybody kind of figured it was done. And so he came home. We had practice for the NIT. He came home, and she was playing Country Roads in the house. So that's a good, funny story. And then when we played Oklahoma State in the quarterfinals, I'm sure both – have y'all been to Stillwater? Some know. They have the hotel that's on campus that you stay at. So it was a nice day after shoot-around. The staff just walked to our hotel, but on the bus – the team was playing Country Roads. They didn't tell me that until like a couple weeks ago. So, but yeah, so it is a unique tradition. It's fun to be a part of, and it's special.
Coach, in regards to these first couple of games, in regards to non-conference, how important is just identifying rotations and depth as well? Because I know you played 3 guys off the bench, but how important is it early on?
Yeah, each game is like uniquely. Each games are like unique, separate entities to themselves for the most part. Like today, like we talked about this yesterday, I think, Was that yesterday? Yeah, so you go into the game plan and you think and then all of a sudden Harlan has 3 fouls, DJ has 3 fouls, and so you're like, well, you end up actually playing a lineup that I don't even know if we've maybe even practiced some of those lineups before, with some of the 4-guard lineups. And so you tinker with things, you're adjusting things, you have your core idea of how you think it's going to go. But I think that's part of, as our team, we've talked about it tonight, we talked about it a lot, we'll have to get better as the game goes on. We'll figure things out as a group, what we want to execute, how we want to execute, what rotations are working. And the beauty of this team, I think, is you can see different guys in different nights and different spots at different moments. I thought DJ made some big plays for a young guy tonight, and I thought Amir was his energy, his rebounding, his speed. I thought those guys both made big plays in the second half.
Ross, what do you think of DJ and Amir? They didn't really look like freshmen out there.
They're very mature. Again, I think that's where it starts with both those guys. They have the physical capabilities, but more importantly, they have a mental ability to process information, and that's really where you're gauging, their readiness. And DJ's grown a lot through Jackson's injury. You don't ever say injuries are a good thing, but it's forced Jackson's injury has forced DJ to get every single rep in practice. And he's gotten a lot better through that, and both those guys will continue to get better the more they get out there.
Ross, about 11 minutes left. You call a timeout. I'm assuming you weren't very happy. But after that, it didn't seem like there was the occurrences of what maybe caused that timeout.
Well, part of it was we were just so freaking tired. And part of the frustration was the possession before. I probably should have called a timeout, but the media was coming. And so you're like, oh, we'll just get to the media. And then we turned it over. We were fortunate they threw it back to us, and I was like, all right, I've seen enough of us being barely able to stand up, and knew we were about to kind of get that double media because it was the first timeout. So you get that long timeout, and then the very next dead ball, you get another timeout, and now you're at the 10-minute mark, and you got another one coming at 8. So you can kind of rest and get ready for that stretch run.
At that point, though, anything you hammered home that they took back out in the court and handled the rest of the way as far as, pace, shot selection, defense, anything?
Yeah, not necessarily. Just continuing to execute, make simple plays. Again, I thought some of our turnovers in that stretch were we got to give them credit, but also fatigue type of turnovers. Jasper's a pretty good decision maker. I thought he tried to force a couple. Bilo got a little tired, and thought we just did a better job of taking care of the ball down the stretch, stepped up and made free throws, and got just enough stops to create a little separation.
Is there any long-term concern with free throws, or just one of those nights for a stretch there?
Yeah, not necessarily, because again, you're looking at the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior, and those guys are, Jasper's a 78% free throw shooter. Eagle Staff's a 75% free throw shooter. Harlan's been working really hard. Amir's a good free throw shooter. Morris is a good free throw shooter. So I think it's just, those guys will settle in. It's not easy. First time out, and I think they'll settle in. And I don't have long-term concern about our free throw shooting, no.
Coach, there's obviously, lots of talking points, I guess, when you look at the box score. 6.5 minutes to go in the game. It's a 6-point game, with all things considered. Jasper kind of said that he felt like Mount St. Mary's was trying to challenge him to score. He obviously kind of went off in those last 5 minutes. Did you get a sense of, hey, we got to get the ball to Jasper in this stretch here?
Not necessarily. I thought they made some tough shots to get it to 6. They banked one in at the end of the shot clock, which was a difficult shot. Anytime you bank a shot that you're directly, usually you bank it in from the side, but when you shoot it dead on, that's a tough one. And then we had a couple opportunities to not grab balls that ended up costing us. We had an opportunity to grab a defensive rebound. We don't grab it. The next time they score it, Jasper fouls, and they get the ball back, and they score again. That's how you get to 6. So I thought I was just settling in, playing a little bit better defense, and then just putting the ball in Jasper's hands, knowing that you kind of are going to stay a little closer to Honor, and the space opens up, and he'll make the right decision most of the time.
When the shots aren't falling necessarily, how important is it to get those fast break points and those points off turnovers?
Yeah, that was the difference in the game tonight. I thought it was a difference in the game. Like, we were able to get some deflections, get some runouts, get a couple shots in transition, get some easy ones. And, again, that's why we hang our hat on that end of the floor. That's what we've got to continue to buy into and try to be one of the best defensive teams in the country, because you're not always going to shoot the ball well, and you're going to have to weather some storms. And, you know, we had our fair share of breakdowns out there that we'll have to get better at. But all in all, that's kind of why we play the way that we play. So when you're not maybe making as many free throws as you like, or not making as many threes as you'd like, that you can rely on your defense.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Coach.